Hey there folks, Chumpesque here bringing you another audio commentary, and today we have some WCG qualifier games from WC China between Sky and who is it? Kenshin. Okay, so it's gonna be Human Mirror, and it's gonna be on Twisted Meadows, which is quite interesting. Actually, both of these players very rarely switch to Elf and Human Mirror, which I guess why we're seeing Human Mirror here, because Elf versus Human on Twisted Meadows can actually be pretty nice for the Elf. Just if you can do that harassment. But I guess both players have decided instead they're just gonna be sticking with Human, which is perfectly standard. And this is it's all right spawn positions for Sky. Normally you'd say it wasn't brilliant because you can just run straight down here, or you can just run straight up and catch your opponent doing his really fast creeping. But chances are Kenshin isn't going to scout himself, considering he power built that altar, and he's just going to go creep. So you won't even know about the spawn positions until it's too late. And actually, quite a lot of fun doodads and some fun advertising things on this map as well, like the little Samsung flag. Yeah, and it's always nice just to see that there is some sponsorship left, and I do like that they managed to put it on the map, sometimes quite poorly. Actually, this WCG isn't too great, but overall it looks like actually it's all right. Doesn't get in the way like I've seen it get before. And I forget what there was one league where actually they had ruined the map slightly, where they'd put a logo but it was you couldn't build on it, and so it actually meant one of the expansions couldn't be used. They just hadn't tested it or anything. It was a really terrible map design, but WCG obviously very famous, and just very likely to get this all right because they have all the sort of spectacular people working on making sure that all that stuff's right. And it looks like we are going to be seeing both heroes pop at about the same time. Obviously, both players going Archmage. You can see Kenshin bringing out that Water Elemental as soon as possible, which is also what Sky's doing. Just that means that you can get that second one out a bit earlier, and we will see that second one will play a very important role in this creeping, although it's the first one that really makes a difference, because that one is going to die to the creeps as a basic rule. Kenshin actually a bit ahead here. Looks like he's only bringing in a couple of militia. Oh no, sorry, there are just some hidden back there I didn't see. Yeah, so he has enough militia. He might well lose one, but we're gonna have to see if that does happen. It looks like Sky actually nicely microing one back, which was actually slowed and very low, so very nice that that's the one he micros back, because ooh wow, he micros it back in and then loses it. Tome of Experience for Sky, as well as Lionheart Stormwind, not brilliant, but that Tome of Experience absolutely fantastic. Meanwhile, Lionheart Stormwind as well, but looks like he didn't get that the Tome of Experience, which puts Sky at a tremendous advantage to this point. Sky obviously very close to level 3 at this point, and can just creep out one of those green camps, and then he'll be sorted and can do some pushing, do some just harassment of the base. Actually, maybe he's going to go creep out this green camp first, presumably, although seeing these militia means that Sky's probably going to back off or try to be aggressive at least. And it looks like he's actually just going to run straight into Kenshin's base. This is really aggressive. Kenshin going to take a lot of damage from these creeps, and eventually will be able to catch up with Sky. And unfortunately, no arcane tower up yet for Kenshin, so he's really going to have to do a whole lot. Meanwhile, it looks like he's been doing some multitask creeping. Very nice played there by him. Means he does get level 3, which is oh so critical, and that's really going to be very bad for Kenshin now, because he's just so far behind, and at this point he knows that there was a Tome of Experience, and you can see it was this camp that was crept out. Obviously, you can just creep that out with a couple militia, basically, and it looks like Kenshin really going to need to find some way to get his level 3 without Sky being able to do too much harassment, and that is Sky's goal now. It will be harassment. It's not going to be trying to get any more experience, at least for the foreseeable future, until he gets Mountain King out second. I think he can go for Mountain King. There are other options, but it looks like Kenshin responding to this by putting up 2 arcane towers. A good response, certainly, because it takes care of the water elementals and the Archmage quite well, but these footmen just are sort of given impunity, and so you do need to sort of stick around, and this is where it really can get tricky. And you can see Kenshin having to spend have to use all his peasants just to repair, as opposed to Sky, who's presumably getting some nice mining done. But this one tower does go down and immediately focuses that Archmage. Very nice by Kenshin, who will be able to chase at least the Archmage away. It looks like the rest of the units will go with him, because there's no more water elementals and just about 5 footmen. And meanwhile, Sky is just starting his tech now. He does have 9 on lumber, so we could be seeing some sort of expansion plans from him later on in this game, but it's not certain. I mean, we're gonna have to see what strategy he goes for. Considering it's a Archmage first, we're probably gonna be seeing a Priest and Breaker build, but certainly there is some room for variation. We could be seeing a Panda second, we could be seeing a Mountain King second. Meanwhile, Sky sells that Lionheart with Stormwind and buys the boots. I like the buying of the boots. I think everyone sells the Lionheart with Stormwind. It's not a brilliant item, but you don't get too much for it. Ooh, look at this. This guy stealing the Shadow Priest, but then getting bolted by that Rock Golem, and just means he's going to lose that Shadow Priest straight out. I mean, Kenshin's just going to be able to get out of here with the Berserker. Really nice there for Kenshin, because those Shadow Priests can be so annoying. They can dispel those water elementals so nicely, and also do a bit of healing on that Archmage, who otherwise really doesn't have a good healing plan until sort of an arcane vault goes off, and that's going to take a while, because no one really likes to get them up too early. And Kenshin has started his tech now, but it's going to be much later than Sky's, and so Sky will have a little period in which he can do a bit of or he will have a bit of an advantage. We're going to have to see how he uses that advantage. There are a whole bunch of ways. Sometimes, or you very occasionally see a human go for a couple Sorks right as they hit tier 2, just because your opponent can't dispel it. I mean, assuming you have a tech advantage, your opponent can't dispel it for a little while, and those Sorks certainly are brilliant for that short period of time, but they do become quite useless quite quickly, and so we might see that the tech difference isn't large enough for Sky to bother doing that. Kenshin putting up his Arcane Vault and still being harassed here by Sky's Footmen, which are pretty expendable. At the same time, you don't just want to throw them away. It looks like Sky really going to lose at least 3 here, maybe just 2 if he gets this one away. Yeah, looks like he will. So Sky just going to be able to get away with these couple last Footmen. He's going to need to heal them up though. And he does have his Arcane Vault finally up, but his tech is nearly done. He's even putting up a Lumber Mill now. So perhaps we're not just going to be seeing some sort of a caster build. Perhaps we'll be seeing something more. Perhaps Sky wants a couple of guard towers, or perhaps he just wants some more lumber, but he did have 9 on lumber, so perhaps that means he's going to be going for an expansion. I mean, there's quite a few options, especially on Twisted Meadows. Twisted Meadows allows for a lot of different options because it's such a large map. You can tech up if you want, or you can just push if you want. We're seeing 2 Arcane Sanctums, and are we seeing... no Mountain King yet, and Sky could afford one. Oh no, he's just spent a bit of money now, so maybe he's not going to be going for it quite yet. He's going to wait a short period of time, and then he'll pick up... Oh no, it looks like he's picked up a Panda. Very interesting play here. I do prefer the Mountain King, although the Panda is certainly very good. It's sort of like the Naga in this matchup, in that or the Naga in general, the Panda is like in this matchup, in that you really have to do a lot with it early game, because it's as it becomes more a Breakers war, you really start to lose that edge, assuming Kenshin's going to go for Breakers, but that does seem quite likely at this point. You can see Sky just coming in, getting off that one Breath of Fire, and then getting out, and even attracting all the Arcane Tower fire on that one Footman. Very nice play there by Sky, and a bit sloppy by Kenshin to miss that. It is so nice to drain all that mana away. But Kenshin gonna finish off that creeping, gonna get back into this battle. He does have a greater invuln pot as well as being level 3 now, which is gonna make a whole world of difference. But you can just see the massive amount of damage Sky is doing. Unfortunately, he's blocked his Panda from getting in. He has to move his Archmage back, and it's too late at this point. He can't get that one Breath of Fire he really wanted. Kenshin has finished his tier 2 now, and it looks like Kenshin has bought so many mercs, using that slow so nicely at that Archmage. Archmage, even with boots, is gonna have to be TVing out, and it looks like all these militia are being called by Kenshin. Actually, some of them might go down. Looks like one just went down at the last second, and Kenshin's gonna get a really nice Arcane Scroll use here, and really very nicely played here by Kenshin, managing to slow that Archmage and end that harassment slightly earlier than it otherwise would have gone on for. And there was one point where if Sky had gone in and got one Breath of Fire, he would have got a couple peasant kills, and that would have just been really annoying for Kenshin to have to try and catch up to. But you can see now he's only now putting up his Arcane Sanctums, whereas Sky already has some mercs out. He's bringing out militia, a lot of militia coming out for Sky, and fortunately this being revealed here by Kenshin, so perhaps he's going to know that Sky is creeping here. He presumably not going to be expecting it to be at Tower Rush, or a Tower Push. That's just a sort of a stupid thing to do at this point. It's just for this Panda by the looks of things. Got to get him to level 2 and pick up a pretty nifty item here probably. Sky looks like he is getting creeped at. Kenshin with very good knowledge. Another Tome of Experience here for Sky. Absolutely amazing, and Scourge Bone Chimes could be very nice for these militia, but then Sky will probably basically be best off selling it after that point, because but look at this Mountain King coming and getting this around here off on Sky, and Sky now in a lot of trouble, gonna need to... Oh, he doesn't have a TP because he used it before. He's gonna lose his Archmage. Oh my god, this is so bad for Sky, and it looks like Sky just gonna be left with this one Panda who is now level 3 thanks to that Tome of Experience. That's really gonna save Sky here, because he's just gonna be able to push back now that Kenshin doesn't just have the units, but Sky losing that level 3 Archmage, gonna have to probably alter it back, because you want to be spending your money on other things at this point in the game. It's just going to mean that Sky not going to be in a good position, maybe going to even be behind in experience, despite having got these two these two tomes of experience, and it looks like Sky actually can be forced back by the threat of the ball. Oh wow, Sky actually taverning his Archmage back. He's really basically lost all his army advantage. All the advantage from getting that much earlier attack is now gone by having to buy back a level 3 Archmage. And I guess it's sort of alright, just in that the Archmage generally doesn't have too much hit points and has really fast mana regeneration anyways, so the hit points can be very quickly regenerated by these priests. And it looks like Sky could be going for an expansion now, or at least militia creeping, and I can't imagine he won't be expanding at this point. Actually bringing in one peasant in peasant form. Perhaps that's a build in the early tower because he doesn't want to wait for his militia to move out, or perhaps it's just a bit a sloppy play by him. I'm not quite sure. And this panda now going to be solo creeping this. Sky really wanting that level 4 on that panda, which is a bit odd. I guess he's eventually going to want level 5, but level 4 isn't too brilliant compared to, I think actually level 4 in the Archmage right now can be quite useful. You know, Sky picking up a couple ivory towers, they're really worth the money because it just means your peasants can do other things instead of having to build those towers. Considering the Archmage wouldn't be doing anything else, that's a pretty nice move. And meanwhile, Sky getting that level 4 on his panda, and now moving it away, and it looks like, ooh wow, that very nice reveal there by Kenshin. Gonna notice that this expansion is going up, and he might well just straight push, but I don't think he has quite the army to actually get away with this push. You know, this you can see actually Kenshin quite interestingly has gone for a couple Sorks. I was saying that it was possible to go for them if you were ahead in tech, but being behind in tech and still going for them is pretty risky, especially considering Sky does have a breaker on him, and it does have some priests, although they don't have, oh no, they do have Dispel already, so, oh yes, right, of course, because there's water elementals about, and it looks like Sky will just lose these towers and not going to be able to finish off with this expansion, and Kenshin doing some very nice aggression, and actually Sky needs to be so careful with his Archmage. You could lose it to another bolts around if he's not careful, but Sky comes in with the rest of his army and forces Kenshin away. And looks like Sky could even get one more Breath of Fire off. No, instead using a Clarity Potion. And it looks like Sky actually now going to set up his expansion as Kenshin decides to TP out of there. Just it wasn't worth trying to stick in that battle. And he just knew that he wouldn't be able to do any more damage. He was going to take some damage. Still, I'm not sure it was 100% necessary to TP. Maybe he was worried about some slows coming in, something like that. But I think he probably could have just run for it and done a nice turnaround at the top of a hill or something if Sky decided to chase. And it looks like Sky now actually setting up this town hall. Meanwhile, Kenshin showing no real signs that he wants to expand himself. He looks like he's going to go creep out this expansion, but not bringing any peasants or militia with him. So he's probably going to be going for some quite early pressure. And Sky now with this invisible panda. I assume that's from a Sork. No, it's not from a Sork, interestingly. He's actually bought an invisibility potion. He would have been so much better off just to train that Sork training, but maybe he just didn't want to wait for it to finish, or maybe he wanted to know his Arcane Sanctums aren't doing anything, or at least one of them isn't, so he could have just, wouldn't have lost any time by getting that. And so it's a bit of an interesting investment here from Sky, who looks like he's just going to be going off, doing some shopping, buying a staff teleportation. Interesting choice against staying Mountain King, but especially considering he's presumably going to want to do some harassment. Maybe he's going to want to try and take out this expansion, which is now going down. Looks like Sky did buy some Kenshin did buy some ivory towers, and putting down 3 arcane towers, really nice against that potential panda harassment. So if Sky wants to do any damage, he's going to have to do it right now. And looks like Kenshin doing some nice creeping here. What item is he going to pick up? We're going to have to see. Actually, we're probably seeing harassment here. Yeah, we are seeing some very nice Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire harassment there. And meanwhile, what item did Kenshin pick up? Ooh, Sobi Mask, as in combination with that Pendant of Energy and a Potion of Vulnerability. Those are fantastic items for that Mount King. And meanwhile, it looks like Sky's going to actually now be harassing the main of Kenshin as well. So some nice harassment here by Sky. This is really a characteristic of Sky's play. A TP now coming in though, and Sky gonna need to run for it, but he's gonna lose a fair few units. He uses 1 priest there, and he has 5 actual units and 2 summon units back here. What is Sky doing? Has he just forgotten about them? Looks like he was trying to take down that arcane tower, but he's just gonna lose so many units. Gonna maybe get 2 units, 3 units away. Oh, nice block there by Kenshin, and another nice block there. Oh wow, fantastic play. And it looks like these units really are trapped, and one of them might just get away here, but it looks like Kenshin gonna get a whole bunch of experience as well as a significant army advantage, even if the expansion was a bit later. And Sky really on the back foot, and even a slow coming out here from a Sork, which just popped, and that's gonna mean that Sky's gonna lose this 1 footman as well. Meanwhile, Sky just in the face of Kenshin, or in the expansion of Kenshin, taking out these towers and taking out the expansion. So it's a decent trade actually for Sky, who's sort of did a whole lot of who lost a whole lot of units, and you can see his army is absolutely tiny. He's even purchased a Zeppelin because he can get all his units away in 1 Zeppelin. And it looks like Sky's actually gone for Drunken Brawler at level 4. Quite nice choice, I think, because we are going to be seeing a transition into more breakers, presumably, although certainly this game hasn't been going exactly as I would expect. But as I was saying, yeah, really characteristic play of Sky in a human mirror, just to go for constant harassment, constantly being in his opponent's face, trying to take out peasants. Obviously, militia dies so quickly to water elementals, and it looks like Sky even doing some harassment here with break.